Welcome back to another episode of Rus Americanata, and we are at the new house, and our contractor has the day off. He's been working almost every day very diligently, but we wanted to make a video about the new house because we've received some comments asking for more. Our last update video was very quick. We just came to put the new tile here so that our contractor could lay the tile and whatever. And he's usually here working, and so we kind of want to stay out of his hair. And so we just did a very quick update. But we've gotten some comments about wanting more details. So we're going to do two things. One, we're going to show everything in the house, all the things that we've done up until this point, where we're currently at right now, and where we're going. We're also going to talk about the cost, how much plus or minus, how much everything has cost us so far, and again, how much like our budget is from the cost of the house to taxes to everything. So this is going to be a longer, more detailed video for those of you who've asked for a little bit more. So if you want that, stick around. It's going to be a minute, but I'm excited because one, we get to go and look at all the nooks and crannies of what the work has been done, because usually we come here, we check on it, we talk to our contractor, and then we leave. You know, it's usually like maybe 15 minutes, but now we're going to spend the day here going through everything, and we'll share all of that with you. So if that's what you want to see, thanks for joining us. Without further ado, let's check it out. Last update video, we had just purchased the tile and we were dropping it off here, and he has finished the tile up to about, I would say 90%. This is the new tile that we have here. Today we need to go back and get more because he's gonna do the baseboard here, and he ran out of tiles. So we basically bought more than he said to expect, and actually he ended up using every single piece of tile. And so we need to go get more so he can finish the baseboard here. But I'm pretty happy with what this tile looks like. It's kind of hard because it's super dusty because he's working on some other stuff. And in here, he's covered it up because he's working on the walls, which I'll show in just a second. But yeah, he still needs to finish all of this. I don't want to pull this up anymore. But yeah, we had the whole floor in here completely torn up. I said it in the other video, he put some rebar down under here because where I'm standing is basically the ceiling of the basement, and we'll go down in the basement and look at that. He sealed some cracks that were in the floor slash ceiling, and then of course we bought new tile, and he evened all of this out. So all of this tile cost us about 400 euros, and the labor was about 700 euros, give or take. One thing I want to make very clear is that these numbers are our numbers. It doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be your numbers. Maybe you can find some stuff cheaper, or maybe he's a lot cheaper than other people. But at the end of the day, I feel like our contractor, he's a very good contractor. He's very capable. He's been very easy to work with. I feel like in some ways we got lucky because we got a very capable person who can do multiple jobs all in one instead of having to hire 5 different contractors at a reasonable price. Another thing that we're having done is, as you can see now, he just started working on it, is the wall. So of course we want to paint. We don't want this yellow paint. So he's stripping down the wall and he's replastering it so that he can have an even surface and start painting. So that's the current project that he's working on right now, is stripping the wall and filling in all the cracks and doing all of that. And so it's a messy job, which is why he covered the tile. And I don't have a price on this yet because he's, labor. This was basically just labor hours and of course materials. And he usually sends us a bill. So we haven't gotten the bill for this quite yet. But basically the materials for this is mostly just labor because this plaster doesn't cost a whole lot. So he's working on that. This I'm really excited about because we weren't originally going to do this at all. Originally this was just going to be the kitchen, and so there was a stove here and there was like a cabinet here. I'll see if I can find some footage of what used to be here, but there was a stove here. But our contractor told us it was a little like door that went here and like the hole, and he says, there is a fireplace here. So he asked us if we wanted a fireplace, an actual fireplace, and we said yes. So especially once we decided to change this room from the kitchen to the living room, which we'll go over in a second, I said yes. So he started working on this. As you can see, this is where the wood will go. And then this is not the full fireplace. We actually ordered a fireplace like that you can install in here. So it's kind of like, it's like one of those black, maybe I'll put an image on what we actually ordered. It should be here any day now. We were hoping it was going to be here today, but it doesn't look like it's going to arrive. But anyways, we're actually going to install this piece that goes into here. And obviously that's the chimney. So I'm really excited about this because this was not the original plan. And speaking of changing the original plan, this was the kitchen, like we talked about in the other video. And the table was here, and then when there was another wall that basically started about like right here, and the fridge was like on this other side of this wall. But once we decided we wanted to change this to an office slash den or living room, he told us that this wall was not load bearing, so we basically got rid of this wall so that we have full access here. And the office desk will be here. Basically, it's going to go along this wall here. Of course, we're going to cover this all up, and we'll have a bench that goes here, and then a bench that goes across here, and maybe a bench that goes across here, and then of course the chair area. So it'll be a nice little nook, I guess, and this is where we'll work when we need to work. But I really like this better because the kitchen was just so tiny. I felt like the dining room, it's just the two of us here, so the dining room, which we'll go into in a second, has more space, and it would be much more comfortable and enjoyable to eat in there and cook in there. Whereas opposed to basically we would have this tiny little table here and a little table to cook here, and then most of this space would be wasted because we're not going to do anything with it. But now we're going to have a couch here, we'll have a TV here, you know, we can have another couch here for reading, and just this space I think will be much better used as a living room and an office than a kitchen. And again, I don't know the exact cost because he's not finished doing this, but he's going to basically build us on a whole built-in desk area here. And in another video, we'll go over all the costs of everything after we're done. I don't know if you remember in other videos, this used to be shelves all the way down. And so obviously we had the radiator installed here, so those shelves are now gone. But I definitely want to keep some shelves here because I would like to put books up here because I love physical books, and I want to keep that. Another thing we're having done is we're having outlets. We only had one outlet over here. It was here, and that's it. We had that, yeah. So because this is going to be like a desk area, we have an outlet here and here. And then we have one, obviously, then we have an outlet here because I think we're going to put like a couch and then like maybe like a stand on side of the couch. So we'll have like a lamp or something here. We had an outlet also put on this side over here, and an outlet here. So probably we'll have the TV on this wall, and the outlet for the TV will be there. Something like that, not 100% sure yet. So this line is actually going to be for the hot water in the house. Right now we have a boiler. This is the boiler for the hot water. So we're going to get rid of that.
It's only for bathroom. In the kitchen we didn't have
hot water, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, so we're also replacing that, and we're just going to connect everything to the hot water heater, and we're going to get and we're going to get rid of that.
Yes, from our new kitchen we have already.
Right, we already have hot water, yeah.
And this will be from.
Yeah, so this will.
Yes.
Once we get rid of that, he'll connect that.
Yeah, he will connect one of these hot water and we'll go to shower and sink.
Right. And so here, it's a giant mess, but this is where we're going to have the kitchen. We will have. So here is where the sink will be. So we had water, of course, run here. We'll have the sink here on this edge, and then we'll have, I believe we'll have the stove on this side, and then we'll have counter space here. We'll have cabinets up here, and we'll have cabinets up along this wall. And I would like to, I don't know if Elena agrees with me or not, but I'd like to have another counter space here, and then maybe cabinets here, but we'll see. Either way, this space is pretty big, but being able to have the kitchen in here, so the dining room table will still be right in the center, so we'll basically cook and eat in the same room with room to spare, and there's more light, but we'll have access to our beautiful view, but also host guests when we have people over, instead of being cramped in that little room and then having to bring everything into here. The other thing that we had done just recently, which we did also show in the other update video, but I'll give more details. So this is the boiler or the caldaya, the water heater for the radiators that we got in. So we bought this whole unit, and we had to buy these tubes. So they come in kits. So this one was not a full kit. And I don't know how to explain this. They have like indoor and outdoor ones. And technically this is an indoor one, but we are in like we're outside, but we're kind of inside, and we're going to put some kind of covering over here so it doesn't completely freeze. But this one is for indoors, and we're going to put something to kind of keep this area a little bit warmer. Although it's not too cold in this area. But they come with these kits that you can completely install them, and you don't need to buy anything extra, but we didn't get that because we didn't know. So if you do have to buy one of these water heaters, just understand that some have a kit and some don't. And what I mean by that is that it will come with this, and it will also come with this tubing that you need. But we had to end up buying this tubing separately after the fact. And this cost us about 780 euros for just this, and then I think all the tubing and stuff was like another 30 euros. So yeah, that was about 780, 800 euros, and the labor to install it, because we had to have, our contractor couldn't do it because he had to do something with he had to mess with the gas, and our contractor is not licensed to do anything with the gas, so we had to have a specific, he's called an hidraulico, which is not quite a plumber. He's licensed to do plumbing work. He's licensed to do like gas and different things, and so we had to have him come here and work on the taps and also install this specifically because our contractor can't do that. And that was about $1,200 in labor. So that's the caldaya, but the actual heating system our contractor did. So we bought all of these radiators, and we bought, how many radiators did we buy? 8? 8 radiators, about 160 euros a pop. And I say about because some of them are bigger than others. This one, for example, was a little bit less because it's smaller, the one in the bathroom. If you remember here, there was like an electric heater, and we got rid of that because it was inefficient, and it was the only heater we had in the house. But this actually, I mean, all the heat's on in the house, which that's another thing too, is it's so warm in here.
Yeah. Yes, because our contractor, he did count on all square of this house.
Square footage.
Square footage, how many radiators we need.
Right, so he came up with the number 8, and when we walked in, this is the first time we walked into the house, and it was really warm. So here's the other radiator. So this one's a little bit bigger. So I think the average for these was about 160 euros. Some cost more than others. But it's a good feeling when we walked in today for the first time and our house was warm, because we've only stayed here one night, and the one night we stayed here, we froze. We were so cold. So it was really nice coming in here, and now we have everything. We have electricity, we have hot water, we don't have any leaking water, and now we finally have a good amount of heat. This is the master bedroom, so we have 2 in here because it's the biggest bedroom in the house. And then 1 in this room. This is the guest bedroom. And we have 2 radiators down in the basement. And we'll go down there. So right now there's a leak in the Arizona room downstairs, which we'll go to in a second. And it's coming through here. That's why these are here, it's covering it up. But yeah, it's leaking. This is leaking. So we need to get all of this up. And I haven't decided whether we're gonna completely redo all this tile or not, because it's not all bad, or just fix the bad parts. I'm tempted to get it all fixed all at once, but we'll have to discuss that with the contractor. We're not there yet. So right now, big priority number 1 for this area is to get this leak fixed. Oh, this is nice. Look at that beautiful heat. So now, the basement. I have a lot of work to do down here, but that's for later. So you can see he's done work down here. He's filled in some cracks. This is where we have water coming in now from the water heater downstairs, or down here, to the radiators. Still some more cracks that we had worked on. But yeah, we have a lot of work to do down here. We have to go through. There's a lot of stuff we still haven't even gone through yet. But this will be a big storage area for us. But we just need to kind of like...
But yes, he cleaned.
Yeah, he cleaned. Well, there was a shelf there. So this is the shelf that was there. So he moved that because he needed access to it. But either way, this is going to be a fun challenge for us to come in here. The cool thing is that we already have like a ton of wood for our fireplace. Like we're already pretty much stockpiled for quite a while, which is nice. But it feels good down here now because I remember when we first bought this house, it was so freaky coming in here. It was like huge spiders and just gross stuff. I mean, there's still lots of spider webs and stuff like that, but it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. It was a lot more comfortable being down here. So on to the Arizona room. So we installed radiators down here too because we want this to be a real living space. So here you can see the leak that I showed earlier that's coming from that space. So that's priority number one for this whole area. You can actually see it's leaking right now. But yeah, we need to get that taken care of. So that's, as soon as he's done with the stuff upstairs, he's going to be working on this. But we want this to be a real living space. So we do have like an old stove, and these things actually get hot. They create a lot of heat, but it's going to end up being like on just this side. So we ended up installing radiator down here as well, and then over on that side, because we want this to be a real living space at some point where we can come down here and hang out in the winter and it not be so cold. But we need to get that leak fixed right away, and then the rest, I'm not really sure what we're going to do with this area, but I like it because I don't know whether this works or not, but we're going to end up probably getting another washer dryer down here as well. But I think this will just be like a nice area. This is how we access the backyard. So I'd like to have a grill out here too, and you know, whatever, we'll see. But it looks like they cooked down here because there was like one of these gas stoves. So I think they use this as like a separate, like an alternate kitchen, because you can cook on this, but also you can cook on this as well. Like this opens up to a cooktop if you want to keep stuff warm or even cook on it. So, but yeah, this is just a wood burning stove. I'm actually excited to use this because at Johnny's house, this thing was super warm. And it's just fun because it's real fire and yeah. So yeah, so right now this is the only access to the backyard. So what we want to do is basically build stairs that go from here to here so that we can access the garden from upstairs as well, not just the basement. And then we have all this old tile from upstairs in the kitchen. So all this is that old tile and concrete. And we were talking to our contractor and we want to level all this out and reuse that tile out here so that we can have a flat surface to basically so that we can walk on and that we can enjoy. Like I said, I want to put a grill somewhere around here. But all this we're going to clean up and use as much of this tile as we can because there's quite a bit of it. So it doesn't go to waste so that we can have a flat surface here. And we have a ton of it down there. I don't know whether you actually, let me just go down there. So we have all this old tile that we're going to repurpose up there. And we're also going to clear all of this mess up. So we're going to leave the tree. Of course, we really like this tree, but we're going to clean up a lot of this. It's just kind of a big mess. And this will be a job. I will be working on this. But there's just a lot of old bricks and tile and just junk here that just needs to get cleaned up. And then we want to make a path to get up there really easy, or a lot easier. If you see our neighbor's yard, I don't know how well you can see it, but they actually have stairs and they've got like terraces, you know, that step down. And I want to do something similar where ours is just kind of a big mud hill. It's just a big mess. So over time, we will be whacking all this stuff down. We'll leave the stuff that's alive and beautiful, and we're going to whack down all the extraneous stuff and build something nicer. Build something that's easier to get access up and down. And I'd like to, because you can see our neighbor has done like a garden. And I love our neighbor. He's 83 years old. And I see him out here gardening on the weekends. It's so impressive. So he's definitely an inspiration to me. When I'm 83, I want to be, he's in great shape. He's easy to talk to, and he's still very active. So I'm gonna spend more time talking to him and figuring out what he's doing to be that healthy at 83 years old. The other thing that we're having done is all of the windows are being replaced. So these are like windows, like a door window, like this goes to the terrace. All these windows are being replaced, and I think it's 11 in total. So all the windows and all these like door windows that access the outside are being replaced. And that one was really important to us because it's just the energy efficiency in the house is terrible, at least right now. So that's gonna really help retain the heat, but also it's gonna help keep the house cool in the summer. The cost for all of the windows, which we ordered 11 windows slash doors, it was about 4,600 euros, something like that. Yeah, around 4,600 euros, and that's not including labor. So replacing basically all of these windows. So we had to order those special, and they're on their way now. So they'll be here probably sometime at the end of February, or at least the first batch of them will be here. So we're still waiting on that. So that's the windows. So the thing that has given us the most headache so far was the very first thing we needed to fix, and that's this water line. So the water starts here at the street and then comes into the house here. And the original leak that we had was under here. And our neighbor noticed once we turned the water on that there was this big, like, wet spot here. So originally, we had our contractor dig up from here. Well, yeah, he found the leak here, and he dug all the way here. And he had all of this, he basically dug all this stuff up. So this is all concrete here that he pulled up. And he dug all this up all the way into the house, and then he basically ended up redoing all the pipes in the house. Like maybe a couple of weeks after that. So not only did he dig it all up, he also redid the concrete here. So this is all, if you can't tell, brand new. But we came here one day, and I'm really glad he was in here working, and all of this was like wet. And we were like, what the heck? It's like another leak. And we thought it was in the same spot. So he came running out here. We shut the water off. So the original leak was over here, but now we had this huge leak here. So we ended up like digging and digging, and it just kept going back further all the way until we came here and found another leak. And we fixed that leak to this big old pipe. So he still needs to finish all of this. And then after that, it ended up being another leak in the house, in the kitchen, under the floor. And fortunately, he already had the floor up. So basically, it's like one leak after the next because all the pressure in the house was building up, and the weakest part was what was bursting. So, but anyways, the leak has now been fixed. We haven't had any issues for the last month, or a little less than a month now. And we're crossing our fingers because in the bathroom, we haven't had anything replaced, but in the bathroom, the pipes are in the wall. So we'll see how that goes. All of this parts and labor cost about 1,000 euros for him to fix. So to dig all this up and to fix the leaks was about 1,000 euros. So we are still going to redo this entire thing because this is just gross to me. We are going to have all of this torn up, and we're going to put like, actually, I don't know if you can see our neighbors here, how they have like their stone. We're going to have that. We're going to have some kind of stone put here just to make this whole area look better. So once everything's said and done and we're not getting any more leaks and all that, we're going to just pull up all this concrete and then lay down. But that's not our highest priority right now. So, but yeah, I can't stand this thing. Our neighbors next door actually told us that they planted this thing over on top of this because it was so ugly, and actually is got some fruit, which is really interesting because we saw these very strange flowers when we very first came to look at the house. Really, really weird looking flowers. And here's the fruit of it. But our neighbors actually told us that they put this plant on top of here, and it's just been growing because it's so ugly to look at. So we're gonna have this torn down. Not completely torn down, but we're going to like take all this wood off and redo that. Okay, what else? This was the old stove slash oven in the old kitchen. So we need to have somebody come pick that up. We're gonna order a new one. It's just, we're not cooking right now, so we haven't done it. We actually did order another stove. It arrived and everything, but it was damaged, like really bad. And I'm actually glad because they took it out because that was when we were still gonna do the old kitchen. And so they said, oh, we don't have that one anymore, so you can order another one, and they gave us a discount, whatever. So we're gonna wait on the stove. So once the new kitchen's completely done, then we will order the new stove, make sure that it fits and all that good stuff. And here's the old like gas heater that was where the fireplace is at now. So when we first had the original contractor, the Hydraulico came, he told us that all this was just in bad shape. And like I said, I'm kind of glad because we took it out, and that's what gave us the idea to just switch a bunch of other stuff around. Let's talk about cost of the house. The agreed upon cost for this whole house was 32,000 euros. On top of that, we had to pay our realtor about 3,800 euros. Yeah, I think it was about 3,800 euros, and we, the buyer, had to pay everything. So I don't know about, in the US, a lot of stuff is negotiable. You can negotiate who pays for what and what, like, you can have inspectors come. You can do a lot of stuff and negotiate. But here it's kind of like, at least in our case, it was, we had to pay for everything. So any fees, any taxes, everything we have to pay. And I'm not 100% sure what the seller had to pay for the realtor, but I know that we had to pay 100% of the realtor fees, even though the seller listed it. And then we had to pay about 4,000 for the Notaio. Overall, the house ended up costing us around 42,000 euros. When I was originally doing my math, I remembered it being just above over 42,000. That was definitely within our budget. Our budget was give or take 80,000 euros. We had looked at homes that were kind of like ready to go for 80,000. Like we could just move in, do everything we wanted, but they were much smaller. They were in the city, but pretty much all these other homes that were in the countryside, this was one of the better deals that we had. And this house, as much work as we need to do on it, was actually in better shape than a lot of these other houses. So we looked at houses that were a little bit bigger, but they needed more work, and they were like 45, 46,000 euros. So, add another 12,000 euros to that, plus all the work we need to do. There were houses with more land. There was even smaller houses that were more expensive than this one. So a big factor in us buying this house was the view for sure, but also of a lot of the countryside houses that we looked at that were in our budget, this was one of the ones that needed the least amount of work. Right now, we're about 20,000 euros in. So we have about another 20,000 euros that we can spend. And right now we're looking okay. You never know with these projects. Once we figured out the main things that we needed to fix and how much it would cost to fix those, that's when we decided to start adding a few extra things. So for example, the fireplace. We found out, okay, we're not gonna do the bathroom right away. It's not the biggest priority. So we decided to go ahead and convert the kitchen into a living room and then add that fireplace. So we have, I don't wanna say we have extra money. We just transferred some of the money for some ideas that we had to other things. Because if we had just done the base stuff, like fix the kitchen, fix the leaks, put heat in, we would have a decent amount left over. So we thought, okay, we want this house to be really comfortable, really something that we want. So he needs to paint. Well, that's the other thing too, is that he's gonna paint the whole house. So some of the rooms are better than others. So we need to pay for all that. So we're looking at moving in right now. It's the beginning of February. We are hoping, fingers crossed, that the windows will get installed this month and we can actually move in. We're feeling good. We're well into it now. We're excited. Well, that's it. That wraps up this walkthrough of the house. I hope that gave any of you guys that wanted a little bit more detail enough. We still don't know everything that we're gonna do. I'm sure plans will change. That's where we're at right now. Please feel free if there's something that we left out or if you have more questions about certain things. If we can answer it, we will, because there's a lot of questions that we don't still have the answers to. So if there's anything that we can answer, feel free to ask. We'll do our best. If you have any suggestions, of course, feel free to leave those as well. But we're really happy with the progress of the house so far. We're super excited to move in. And I just want to say a huge thank you and show our appreciation for some of you guys comment on almost every video that we have regarding the house. You guys send encouraging words. Some people do it offline or they send emails, and all of that stuff matters to us. We really, really appreciate it. To every single person that's subscribed, either for the house or for our travel, whatever, we really just want to say we appreciate all of your comments, all your encouragement. And it all really matters to us. We read everything. So thank you. We'll continue to keep you guys updated, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Ciao.
Ciao.